This is the enemy player, and this is me. But before I show you what happens, I need you to understand that there are two types of movement players. The first movement player knows how to do every movement in the game. Then we have the second movement player. This player understands the movement mechanics of the game and creates crazy new movement combos. You always have to be the second movement player. You need to understand and completely immerse yourself in the game's movement mechanics. Then you find yourself inventing new movement combos that leave enemy players thinking you are hacking. So what did I do here? Well, see for yourself. Now, if we look at the clip again, I did two major things to keep myself alive. 3, if we decide to add the part where I escaped the martyrdom grenade. First, I saw the enemy player was running too fast, and this probably meant I won't have enough time to switch to my primary weapon, so I proceed to shoot with my pistol. But notice that I didn't aim down sight. This is because when you hip fire your weapon, you get the same movement speed as when you are just walking. And if you see, the enemy player aims down sight, that means my movement speed will be faster than his. This allows me to dodge his shots better and only works best if you are close to the enemy. Here's another example. I knew a player was going to run through the doorway, so I slid and hip fired. By hip firing, I maintain the momentum I get from the slide. If I decide to ADS, this would break the momentum a lot faster. So if you want to maintain your momentum and still fire at the enemy, hip firing is the best option. There are times when you need to break the momentum by aiming down sight. Look at this clip. The enemy is further away. When I slide, I aim down sight to break the momentum. By doing so, I can easily align my shots on him without overextending. Think of momentum like a graph. It starts fast and it begins to slow down before stopping. There's also a unique way you can start the momentum slow and then speed it up before it stops. And this is extremely useful in COD Mobile. But don't worry, I'll show you how to do that later in this video. Now, back to our clip. I whiffed my shots because, well, it's a pistol. So, what do? I'm forced to switch to my primary weapon, but while switching, I perform a quick dolphin jump by sliding to the right and then jumping to the left before hip firing at the enemy player. Notice how I refused to break the momentum? Because I knew that my chances of survival were already low after missing those pistol shots. I made sure not to break the momentum by hip firing instead of aiming down my sights. And that is what helped me secure the kill. How can you become a second movement player? And why? First, why? Because you need to be able to control the outcome of a gunfight, even when the enemy starts shooting at you first. And you also need to counter the movement of other movement players. But how? Well, I'm going to give you 5 unique tips to help you master movement in COD Mobile. You won't find this anywhere else. So let's get started. The rules of the game. There are certain rules that apply to the movement in COD Mobile. You also need to understand that sometimes these rules may differ depending on what mode you are playing, whether it is multiplayer or battle royale. But our main focus here is MP, and here are some of the rules. Jump fatigue. In the early stages of the game, you could jump as many times as you wished without any form of penalty. But now in 2025, when you jump once, you can't jump to the same height again unless you reset it. To reset the jump fatigue, you need to wait 0.9 seconds. That's roughly a second, and thanks to your brain's internal clock, you can subconsciously know when 1 second has passed. So always know when you need to use 2 jumps before resetting, or even 3 before resetting. Slide fatigue. Just like the jump fatigue, you also get penalized when you slide too many times. The first slide has the highest speed and distance, but all that drops when you slide a second time without a reset. So to reset your slide fatigue, wait 1.3 seconds. This is difficult to pinpoint, so you just have to remember to take 5 steps. 5 steps is all you need for a reset. But again, you can still slide like 2 more times if you have to, before you actually go for a reset. But don't forget, the only times you need to plan a reset is when you know jumping again or sliding again will slow you down, cause this would make you an easy target for the enemy player, so you do not want that to happen. Now the game mechanics. The movement mechanics in codm is simple. You are not supposed to understand it, you are meant to feel it. By feeling it, you immerse yourself in your own gameplay and automatically know what movement tricks are perfect for whatever situation you find yourself in. Take for instance, you have a player down here. Climbing over this window to get to them leaves you with zero momentum. You just come straight down and that makes you an easy target. Instead, you jump slide through the window. It gives you more momentum, which catches the other dude by surprise. They literally won't have enough time to align their shots simply because you are moving too damn fast. So take your time to learn each and every one of the movement tech in COD Mobile. Then you develop unique movement combos that fit your gameplay. In fact, you don't even need to learn some of them because once you become a second movement player, you start to do these movement tricks naturally. But don't forget, your number one friend is momentum. Learn to utilize it in the best way possible. It switches off the aim assist of the enemy players. That is why it's so important. And oh yeah, I said I would teach you how to make your momentum go from slow to fast and then immediately stop it. Well, I already did. The jump slide technique is the second type of movement gain in COD Mobile. Master it and you can switch between the two types of momentum gains based on the situation. For instance, take a look at this clip. I knew someone would come from the corner, so instead of climbing over the barrier, I slowed my momentum by jumping, then holding the slide button to increase it. This caught the enemy player off guard because nobody slows down and speeds up in a fight, but I do, and it helps all the time. Now, your sensitivity. Your sensitivity is the backbone of your movements. Without a solid sensitivity, your movements will suck. Let's start with the rotation mode. Fixed speed or speed acceleration. For faster movements, stick with speed acceleration. But for a more precise and accurate movement, go with fixed speed. You need to use a higher acceleration value because this improves the overall sharpness as well as the speed of all your sensitivity options. And for your overall sensitivity, don't make it too low. It will affect your movement. And don't make it too high or this would affect your aim. What helped me was creating a balance between the two. This way, I do not miss my movement cues and I also maintain a stable aim. I will share my sensitivity code just in case you want to try it out. Now your aim and your HUD. If you get your sensitivity to be perfect but struggle to maintain good crosshair placement or you have a terrible HUD layout, that ruins the whole thing. For your crosshair, always keep it at head or chest level. To make things easier, you can use a crosshair plugin which adds a custom crosshair for you. This leaves you with a strong sense of awareness when it comes to the middle of your screen because you want to perform movements and still keep your aim stable enough to win the gunfight. And as for your HUD, I recommend a concept which I like to call alternating action buttons. This is when you have an action button on the left side or right side and then the opposite of that action button stays on the opposite side. For instance, I have my jump button right here and then my crouch button over here, letting me hit both buttons at the same time, and this helps my movements by a whole lot. Here is my full HUD in case you want to check it out. The last thing you need to become a second movement player is your movement settings. Not many people pay attention to this part of their gameplay, but the most important part of this lies in your joystick. Yes, this little movement button right here. So if you come to your basic settings, you'll find joystick mode. You get two options, fixed position and left control. In Call of Duty Mobile, your screen is split into two halves. One controls your movements and the other controls your view. If you use fixed position, your movement is limited to only the joystick. This means if you touch any part of your screen that isn't the joystick, you turn your view. That is not what you want. Instead, use left control. This allows you to use any part of the left side of your screen for movement. The right side remains the same for turning your view. Left control gives you better control, which leads to better movement. So yeah, these are the 5 tips that would help you become a second movement player. Don't forget that everything takes practice. So give it some time and keep incorporating each one into your gameplay, and you will find yourself waking up one day to discover you are now one with the movement mechanics in Call of Duty Mobile. Good luck.